Matt Bernier and Dan Illman taking a look at another Kentucky Derby contender profile. This time we take a look at My Boy Jack, one of the confirmed closers, few closers in this year's Kentucky Derby. We've seen in the past a number of horses coming from dead last. This horse projects to be last of them all. We're going to take a look at his most recent run in the Lexington at Keeneland. He needed to win this race to get into the field for the Kentucky Derby, Dan. He did so.
He did so, but he had to do it against a horse that was very, very lightly raced, maiden winner only telekinesis, and he really needed the entire stretch to do so. It's not like the pace was dawdling. It was solid enough, and My Boy Jack was pretty much all out to get the job done in that race. He's good. That Beyer speed figure, though, was only a 90. The race was slow, actually slower than a 3-year-old maiden special weight at a 1.16 miles that same day at Keeneland. After 10 starts, I'm not sure how much more upside we can project from My Boy Jack, but he is a consistent, likable horse.
You bring up the Beyer speed figures. He's also a little bit light as far as Timeform US is concerned. But speaking of Timeform US, the pace projector suggests it's going to be a fast pace. We usually see, at the very least, an honest pace in the Kentucky Derby. If he is one of the lone closers coming from off of it, does that give him the benefit of the doubt, or does that give him some sort of a leg up if they do throw it down early?
Oh, I think you have to absolutely give him a big chance if the pace is fast, and the pace should be solid in the Derby. The question really is distance and what you thought of his Louisiana Derby performance 2 starts back at a 1.1 miles. A race that featured a fast pace. My Boy Jack was completely out-sprinted. He came with a big wide run, maybe too wide and maybe too early of a move considering that long stretch at the fairgrounds, and he kind of just flattened out the last eighth of a mile. If you think that maybe that 1 1/8 was a bit testing for My Boy Jack, then maybe a fast pace wouldn't propel him into the winner's circle if you think a 1.25 miles is too far. From a pedigree standpoint, he gets stamina from his broodmare sire, Horse of the Year, Mine Shaft. His second dam won the Fleur de Lis at a 1.8 miles and was also second in the Delaware Handicap at a 1.25 miles. So the pedigree is there. Really the key question I think handicappers have to ask themselves is, what did they think of the Louisiana Derby?
Keith and Kent DeSormo, they've had success over the past years in classic races. They won the Preakness a few years ago with Exaggerator, ran second in the Kentucky Derby. They'll look to do one better in the Run for the Roses this coming Saturday, or the upcoming Saturday anyway, with My Boy Jack.